Anyway, we're back for episode
Okay,
2.
well, we apologize if there's any connection issues because my internet sucks, because that's what it's like living at university.
Yeah. I don't even know why I bothered catching that Magikarp. I have no intention of using a Gyarados.
Well, how to tell I started doing this on my phone. The chapter title was like in the middle of the page. You can't use shortcut keys to make like page breaks and stuff.
So no alt enters.
No.
Yeah, because there isn't
It's
an alt
control
key.
enter.
Is it control? Yeah.
Ooh, my hand is severely dry across the knuckles. I can't bend my hand. I'm on page 38. How cool is that?
It'll be cool once the plot starts.
21,121.
Neb pointed me out how to hide the poke edge. You just have to hold the right button.
Oh.
Oh, right. I have to actually click into that. Yeah. Mystery gift is unlocked by either getting the 3rd gym done or by coming back here once these idiot clowns are out of the way and going in there and talking to the reporter. But I don't know when the reporter goes away. Well, this is gonna be tedious. Low-level Pokemon battles.
Where you just sit there slapping each other, basically.
Yeah.
Is Splash literally a... The annoying thing about the internet is that I literally... My phone won't connect to the internet here anymore. It's doing that thing where it just won't connect to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Even though I have my Wi-Fi turned on, it won't connect. It just kicks it off at some point.
Yeah, because there's not enough signal for it to even bother.
God, my hands feel crusty. I hate showering. I have to wash dishes afterwards.
And this is why you have gloves. At least in
I don't
theory.
like wearing gloves. I do have some. I don't like wearing them though. The only time I wear gloves is if I need to clean, like, counters and stuff with, like, bleach.
Yeah.
I think I, of all people, don't need to bleach my skin.
Okay. What was the point of that? It has poison point? Well, that's just inconvenient. Because it also does that. Come on, Nola, give me a decent roll.
Slap the bitch.
I'm trying. Fortunately, they're making dumb moves, so... and we win.
Well, I guess like the fact that this game has a very long beginning, like Diamond and Pearl just genuinely take forever for it to actually start up. And the fact that they actually give you the XP, the modern XP share.
Yeah.
To me is very convenient.
Hmm. But like, I am kind of annoyed that for some reason my save timer has decided that it's going to add an extra hour to it when I opened it up to check and see if I could do the mystery gift earlier, and then came back on 20 minutes ago and changed the options to turn the volume down. But somehow I've gained an extra hour.
Strange.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they changed the way HMs work.
Oh?
Oh, well that's ironic. They changed the way HMs work, so HMs are now a Pokétch app.
That's interesting.
It's a phone a friend button.
So a little bit like the Alolan,
Yeah, but
sort of.
with some interface for it.
I hope you just squeak a hiccup.
Yes, you squeaked.
I love when I try to get the unit converter to work and I select mass and it's giving me measurements of foot and centimeters. Yes, I did just also say foot.
That's what I was laughing at, yes.
Fuck.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Hey, Quick Claw. Boo. I have to say, I think doing a run with of a Pokemon game where you're not allowed to evolve anything would be an interesting way of increasing difficulty. Because evolution substantially increases base stat total.
I personally wouldn't want to do it. Mainly because I suck at
That's fine. People just decide that as soon as I start recording, they're going to interrupt me every 5 seconds. Yeah, it would increase difficulty and require you to actually manage your team better, or grind the hell out of it. But
I love when I type something on my phone and it's like, lol, you hit all of these keys, and I'm sat here going, since when?
yeah, and you have smaller thumbs than I do. Well, that's some extra training out of the way, and a couple of extra pokes acquired, I guess. So, time to see if the annoying person to the right of town is going to let us pass or not.
I just had the weirdest craving for like a pasty.
For a what?
A pasty.
Okay.
I can't eat it.
Oh. Well, not unless you make one from scratch.
Do you know how much of a pain in the ass? Because I'd have to make the fucking pastry itself from scratch, and I hate making pastry.
Hmm. Oh. Rival battle, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Well, first rival battle. Hmm.
Don't get cocky, kid. Excuse me, we're the same age, you pleb. In game, at least.
Yeah. I mean, otherwise, you know, I got Diamond and you got Pearl in 2007 when they came out.
Yeah. Because we've played pretty much all of, like, the mainstream Pokemon games.
Yeah. This is gonna hurt more.
I hope you can hear my phone going off.
I can hear your phone going off every 2 seconds, yeah.
It's Hanifa, that's how she texts.
Well, I mean, I do that, but I'm not quite that. Let's see. 40 and Stab, not very effective. Not very effective halves it, but Stab gives you 1.5 times. But it's also increased its physical defense. Let's see how much Water Gun does. About the same. Though, I have other Pokemon to swap in. He doesn't, so I'm going to use Charm and harshly lower its attack.
Oh, so you know how we were talking about Pokemon D&D the other time? Okay. What if, like, you have the 4 move premise, right? There are 4 attacks a Pokemon can learn, depending on what level they are. So what if you just had the list of, like, the attacks with the information that you could basically...
You mean a move
like,
dex?
And basically sticky tape them on top of the sheet when you needed it.
You could quite literally do that, yeah. Most of the time,
it's
character
just,
sheets...
You have to remember, I'm such a visual person, none of this shit's to help, like,
most of the time,
any...
There's a
if
whole
I were
page
to do
for
this.
You know.
Yeah, but it's meaning read. But if, okay, say you went to somebody and went, your Piplup is turn level 15. You can learn a new move. The move is this.
Okay, if you wanted
Would you like to learn it?
What you could do for that...
And then they could say yes, and then they could replace it, or I could replace it on their character sheet with that specific moveset.
Yeah. What I'm saying is if you wanted to do it like that, you could just print out copies of moves and just hand them a little cutout.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Obviously, I'd in person because it helps.
Are the clowns gone?
Me?
No. Yeah.
But yeah, I know it's not for everyone.
Well, PTU, which is the big Pokemon tabletop system, has really detailed online character sheets. We've gone through and done those before. Which, those have stuff on them for you to plot your trainer's stats out, the Pokemon stats, items, things like that.
I wouldn't want to do one where because obviously when we were looking at doing this before, you had the option to
give the player the ability to punch a Mewtwo.
The ability to punch, yeah, and I don't want to do that. I'd like to very much just follow the
you
game
don't have to
rules.
worry about Pokemon or player stats then.
Yeah, exactly. Could you imagine doing Yu-Gi-Oh! D&D?
That would be hilarious, because they
no,
did
but
that.
the thing is, you could have your actual fucking deck, and that's how you fight people.
Yes, that would be hilarious. That's why I'm saying that would be hilarious. The downside to that, actually, you know, they did that in the anime several times. They had RPG episodes, right, where the cast had their decks, but they basically were fighting random monsters. So you wouldn't even have to, like, unless you decided to have specific boss fights or something, where you would make up a deck to fight them with, you could just have random monsters spawn and you just have to draw a hand and see what you can do about it. Boop.
Something I would do, obviously we don't have any, like, modern day Pokemon cards. I think we stopped collecting Pokemon cards, I think when Black and White came out.
The last set of Pokemon cards I bought was prior to us moving back from the States, so that's 2008. And that was the World Champion set for that year.
Yeah, I think I stopped buying when Diamond and Pearl came, not Diamond and Pearl, Black and White came out.
That's
so
like
which means my headset's dying. Yeah. Which makes sense because I was still a child at that point in time.
If your Pokemon is out of PP, go to a Pokemon Center.
Yeah, no shit.
And get them a drink.
Pokemon. I love the fact that there is canonically in the Galar region there are pubs.
Say again?
But they have pubs in the Pokemon centers in in Sword and Shield, which is so entertaining to me. Well, of course there are coffee shops, but like the pub being in the Pokemon Center, it's rejuvenate your Pokemon and yourself.
Yeah, if water.
But mind you, like the things on the tap are
quote unquote juice.
Yeah, they're like wine and not beer because they have like the symbols. Yeah, they have the symbols for like the berries on it.
Yeah.
Or it's
cider. I mean, hell,
cider.
it could be cider, yeah. That was the most awkward Oblivion zoom ever. With regards to possibility of doing children's card game as a tabletop, I'd have to actually look up and see if someone's done a system for that or not, because otherwise you'd have to think of it off the top of your head.
You act as though I'm stupid.
I don't say that, I just mean in the sense of...
No, it's you...
You don't like numbers.
I don't like numbers, no, but
that's what I'm getting at.
We get Jim to do the numbers bit. And see if it's possible. And I just sit there ranting at him how I want the system to work.
That's, you do realize how long it takes to come up with a properly balanced tabletop system, right?
Do you realize how long it takes me to actually gather what I need to do for fun? You do not want to know how many tabs are open in the group with the group tab thing you get on Chrome?
I mean, I could...
For just the Harry Potter file?
Yeah, I'm well aware of how you work. It's just... We need to get a laser printer.
Okay.
Just because the amount that you would want to print if we were doing something like this would pay for itself in getting a laser printer.
Mm.
I was wondering whether that guy was a trainer or not.
Because he was facing such an odd way, like, usually they all...
And then there was such a delay between me walking in front of him and him going, oh, right.
We made eye contact. That's the first rule of battle school. Like, how weird is that? It's like you make eye contact with the trainer and they're like, fight me, bitch! And it's just kind of like...
You don't even have to make eye contact with them. They just look at you.
And yeet a Pokeball with a Pokemon in it at you.
Yeah. Suppose at least this isn't the Safari Zone, so they're not eating rocks at my head. You know, in Gen 3 they changed that text so it's mud.
I mean, yeah, imagine throwing rocks at people. I kinda don't like the way the numbers are on the signs.
I also
Mainly
completely didn't read what she said, but I think it said, look at this nifty badge I got from the gym in Orberg.
Well, if we can beat you, the gym will be piss easy.
I mean, if she managed to beat the rock-type gym with a bird, then she's terrifying.
Piss easy.
Honestly, I would be using other Pokemon, but there are just no other Pokemon yet that I actually want to use. And honestly, because we don't have to worry about HM slaves anymore, I have no reason really to have like a Bidoof or a Starly on my team.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you were gonna say something and just kind of cut off.
I don't remember what I was saying.
You stopped mid-sentence.
Yeah,
Yay,
that
pocket
tends to
change.
happen. I think if we could get a group of people who would be interested in doing it, then I would consider
dealing with the mess.
yes.
Let's go see if this has a dex nav. The answer is no.
If I like the fact that there's a I would say it's a real-time day-night cycle.
Yeah.
Which is kind of annoying for this time of year.
Okay, so that's routes that it appears on. And that's inset locations it appears on. So that'll be like Verit or whatever, which lake it was. I don't like the lag on this cursor. And then somewhere down there in the town. Either way.
So if we're supposed to be backseat gaming this, does that mean I get to choose what Pokemon you have? You're getting the Abra if you can catch it.
I have the option to throw a Pokeball at it or it runs.
Yeah, I know.
Fortunately, I know people who have the game, so I should be able to get an Alakazam. I am using this.
Because of course, I'm here to actually dictate how you go about things. I'm not going to tell you how to fight for anything, but I will tell you which Pokemon I think you should have.
Yeah, let's see if this Abra's any good.
But I remember for a fact, you do not like the way my parties work. A game that I think would be cool if it got a Switch port would be X and Y.
X and Y were pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, like fix the render quality and maybe like a DLC for it. Just because I feel like I finished X and Y so fast. It didn't really feel like a full game. You know?
Sorry about that, that was Dad. I have had yogurt acquired for me, which is nice. Well, this is a reasonable nature. It's not a great nature, but attack isn't a stat that Alakazam needs. And see, that's what that's what I was saying.
Yes, teleport. Timid.
Yeah, which means it has bad attack.
Oh, I remember the food thing that's in this.
Yeah, Poffins. Honestly, I'm gonna keep Maggie around until it evolves. I might use a Zubat. Just
really?
As in get a Crobat.
Why?
Never used a Crobat before.
They're not that good.
Crobat is reasonable once you get far enough into the series that they actually have...
Oh, he's adorable.
Moves. Yeah. Well, he's gonna teach us how to use Rock Smash. Or... no? I don't know. Yep. Oh, TMs do break in this. Okay.
I'm confuzzled.
So, HMs are not HMs, right? As in... Rock Smash is no longer HM6, except it is still HM6, but you can't teach a Pokemon Rock Smash and have it actually be useful with it.
Right.
But so he decided to just give me 3 TMs for Rock Smash. See, I don't have the badge to use it yet.
Okay. That's weird.
That's app 20. Okay. App 5 is... see, I can't go this way, which is the way north in the mountain until I get Rock Smash.
Could you imagine like how annoying it would be just trying to walk through somewhere and
well,
you know, you're minding your own business and somebody's like, fight me! And it's like, I'll punch you, you little thing. You child.
Well, they need to clarify how you mean to fight them.
Fight me, Dex, a small child. Should have clarified. Walks off.
Flying kicks across the room.
We're not drop kicking a child.
I didn't say drop kicking, I said flying kick, i.e. you jump and kick them in the head.
It's close enough to a drop kick.
All I have to say is this Abra is going to be nowhere near as good as the Alakazam we have in Swish.
Well, Magic is kind of a broken...
Magic has like nigh perfect IVs, and I then gave him 252 special attack EVs. On top of having a special attack boosting nature. So yeah, Magic sees thing, he go boop. And
would you... okay, Pokemon D&D, having 6 Pokemon is a lot to keep a hold of.
Yeah.
Would you want to cap, like, half of that? Cap it out at 3?
I mean, that's up to you.
I think the way I would do it would be, you can have 6 Pokemon, but when you're fighting, you can have 3. You can choose which 3 you want to go into a battle with.
Which to me voids the point of having the 6.
I don't know. I guess, like... it's that whole not wanting to deal with having to have NPCs with 6 Pokemon. You know, it'd be cool if I learned how to 3D model badges. We did this in person and it's like, 3D prints these badges. If you win, if you beat this gym, you actually get a real life badge.
That would be cute. What would be cuter is if you also managed to manufacture a badge case.
I probably could, to be fair. Like it wouldn't be that difficult.
Oh, that's a track I haven't heard in a while.
But
Please
would you
don't fight
actually? Oh my god, that kind of dates this. Do people even use noob like anymore?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Hello, 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 hello. Sort of orange. Isn't it Raichu color?
It depends. Like, a lot of the shinies got really washed out when they decided to change to 3D models.
Which is, like,
depressing.
Really annoying.
I like the nice friendly warning that gym leaders are harder than the people you fight before them.
Also, isn't it like canonical that gym leaders actually pull out the amount of Pokemon that you have badges for?
Gym leaders will have different teams, yeah.
Which would be an interesting...
Well, that's how you allow player flexibility in a tabletop setting. You come up with, like, say for the first gym leader you have a level 10 to 15 team.
Yeah.
And then you have like a level 20 to or level 15 to 20, 20 to 25, 25 30, 35 40, 45 50 type thing. Depending on, you know, what type of gaps you want to have and who's present and... Okay, I can buy net balls and heal balls now. Well, I could buy heal balls at Jubilife, but...
How do you think you're gonna... Because it's in this where there are the Pokeball capsule things where you could decorate...
Yeah, but you don't get to deal with those until you find a contest place. That door clipped through my head.
And then... I need a jumper, I'm cold. Oh,
I'm sitting here in a fluffy dressing gown, so... She likes how lumpy rock types are.
That is a... nanny to fuck moment. But yeah, like... I guess it would just be, like, more beneficial to have... like, that option.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because I wouldn't want any more than, like, 3 players if we were going to do it as a... Okay, you can start out in any of these towns. Right? So you have the towns and the cities tend to be the ones with the gyms in, right?
Yeah. And generally you want to have a good hour or 2 of adventure before you get to a gym. Right. Because you want to ensure that there's some training taking place.
So people can get used to the mechanic, because I can imagine...
Well, that and so your Pokemon aren't like brand new babies by the time you try and throw them against the first boss.
How do you figure out like how much XP something gets?
That is debatable. There are, like, you can do a dice roll. You can have a set amount.
Seems a bit shit.
Right? And by dice roll, I mean you have, like, you're fighting a level 5 Starly, you knock it out, you roll a number between, like, 15 and 40. Alternatively, you could say that every time you fight a level 5 Starly, it's 30 XP. If it's a level, for every level higher than you it is, multiply that by 1.1. Or, like, add 10%. And for every level under you, take off 10%. Yeah? That way you get rewarded for taking on harder enemies and you get penalized for beating up children. 16 tons, and what do you get?
Coal. I do like the fact, though, that there's like, oh, those cabinet cases are cute.
Yeah.
I like the fact that there's actually,
I'm getting Stardew vibes.
Yeah, kinda. I like the fact that there is actually, like, stuff to interact with, like, there's detail and stuff in that in this, even though it's supposed to kind of emulate the original top-down game.
Which?
2D top-down, should I specify?
Yeah. I did heal, didn't I?
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's see what's gonna stop me up here. Oh, not having a bike. Yeah.
Well.
Did you see the clouds just then?
They glitched.
They just teleported. Berries.
I would say they're orange berries. A chestnut berry, or chestnut thing.
Chesto.
Chesto, there we go.
Rock.
I actually used a golem for the longest time on my original Diamond and Pearl team. Which is surprising, considering I tend to avoid...
Rocks.
Yeah. Let me take my headset off real quick.
Let's see, Orin, Cherry, Chesto, Orin.
Which isn't bad. Orans are healed. The cherry ones are
Paralysis, and Chestos are sleep.
Is it sleep? I thought it was poison. I hate trying to raise the stupid chair. There we go.
I'm kind of just hoping I find a Geodude that's strong enough to survive me hitting it with a water gun. But I doubt that's gonna happen.
I think I used that area to level up my Pokemon for this fucking gym.
Wouldn't surprise me, but it's not like you really need to bother. I'm just gonna ignore Custard's existence. I should have named him Cashew.
His head does kind of look like a cashew.
I wasn't even thinking that, I was just thinking that every time I want to say his name, that's what comes to mind.
Also, nobody questioned us on our strangely food-related names for the characters. There is no bed in there.
Nope.
Or any furniture of any kind. Other than a table.
It's very satisfying to just sit here and watch conveyor belts. It's part of the reason why Satisfactory is so fun. Cheers.
Whoa.
What?
Oh, I'm sat here typing and I flicked the cursor. In a very unhelpful way.
Slag. Beware of busy Pokemon. I can't...
You have to go down and underneath, so now they're up off the floor.
Yeah, I'm aware. It's just...
You'd think that it wouldn't do that.
You'd hope that they were high enough that you could just walk under them. But... Quick Claw is coming in clutch today. I will say the automatic XP all thing is substantially more convenient. Oh good. Yay! $3 of free money. If that.
Yeah. I love sitting here trying to remember
Hey!
fucking names.
Whose names?
Names of characters, especially when one of the characters that you're writing for has 5 other siblings.
Which one?
Honey. Honey has, 5 sisters.
I only remember you naming 2 of them.
2 of them. Yeah. And I still can't remember the 2s that I named because, yeah. Reasons. There are reasons for that. And it's typically just because my brain is stupid.
Oh, yeah, I should probably give this dudette a name.
We get a sound slash for calling it Sandy. That or Grease Lightning. Why do I feel like you couldn't fit Grease Lightning in?
You really couldn't because there's a 12 character limit and lightning is 8.
GRCE, Grease. Oh. Hi.
Onyx has terrible stats.
Yeah, it
You
still
know-
doesn't stop Brock's Onyx from being fucking OP.
That's why it has terrible stats.
That still doesn't make sense to my brain. Why?
Onyx has terrible stats because it has the unenviable role of being the first boss Pokemon. That is, its entire job is to be a speed bump.
It does its job unfortunately well.
Yeah. And...
God, I used to have an emulator on my phone. Obviously I don't have it anymore because it takes up way too much space and it stopped working.
Mood.
But I had an emulator for Yellow. And it was just impossible.
There's a reason why you can get a Nidoran right outside.
No, I know, but it was then you also have to level them up individually.
Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. I'm beginning to think a repel is going to be useful. I literally walked around a rock and got attacked again. Though at this rate, we're going to end up with a Prinplup by the time we get to the gym.
Probably, yeah. I love having to have someone's buzzing my door.
Weird.
I think because the buzzer outside doesn't have the things on it, but I'm pretty sure they're in fucking order.
You would hope so.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. And it's like I've had somebody ringing it like at night at like an unreasonable hour. And I just sat there going, fuck off. Like, if you're trying to get a hold of somebody, you should call them at that time.
Yeah.
It's like one thing, like now, you know, it's the middle of the day, it's 3:30.
Yeah.
But not at like 1 o'clock in the morning. It woke me up.
Which is annoying.
I can't wait to be making big bucks.
Eh?
Actual money. In game.
Oh. I was like, you're an artist.
I'm never gonna make lots of money.
Well, you might. You certainly had more luck with your own career path at the moment than I have, so...
Have I?
Yeah, you've actually used your talents to make money off.
It's not talent.
And then the worst thing is also that, you know, Onyx is pretty terrible. You evolve it into Steelix, which, you know, looks pretty cool. But dies as soon as you look at anything wet. How capricious.
What an ass!
Weird flex and runs off. Well, at least the party is coming along to a reasonable level now. Though, I only have 2 Pokemon on the team that are definitely being kept.
Well, you're not getting rid of Piplup. Also, we gotta do another run through of Shield. I get to play it. And I haven't played a Pokemon game. I think except like from like Yellow and stuff.
Yeah.
And that feels like 5 years ago.
Well, that's because it was-ish.
Because I remember it coming out, yeah, when I was like starting college.
And then Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were 2017.
Yeah, so I haven't played a game like this in forever.
But then Usum were approximately as much of a new game compared to Sun and Moon as a FIFA game is.
Or a COD game.
Oh, okay. How many more Geodudes do I have to murder before I can exit this building? Hole in the floor. A mine. That's what they call it.
A mine! This is no mine. This is a tomb.
Oh, for prehistoric creatures that have been turned, or for prehistoric plants that have been turned into coal, yeah.
They're not even like creatures, they're prehistoric Pokemon that have been turned to coal.
What's plants?
Or
coal is plants.
Well, there are plant fucking Pokemon.
True, but those tend to be a bit squishier and juicier than your typical plant.
It's not a peach, okay?
No, but I'm pretty sure that a Bulbasaur is juicy on the inside and not a plant.
That was a phrase I really didn't need to hear.
Juicy internal Bulbasaur. No, go away, Nursey.
Door. Dun, dun, dun. As you sit there headbutting.
The wall.
Well, this is kind of neat. God, anybody who's only played like the more recent ones are looking at these like gyms like, well, this is boring.
I mean, this one has technically got what could be referred to as a puzzle. In the sense of you have the option of walk straight forwards and murder everybody, or ignore free XP and money.
I guess my way to do it would be run up, beat the gym leader, go heal, then beat the shit out of the rest of the trainers.
Except you can't do that.
Can't you?
No, you can only fight the gym trainers before the gym leader.
Huh. Then go and beat the trainers.
Generally, that is what you do, yeah.
Heal, and then beat the shit out of everyone else.
Unless you just do that. That said, I am gonna want a different Pokemon to this by the time I get to Eterna. Unless I can manage to... Yeah?
You're not permitted to get rid of the starter Pokemon, because you got rid of the starter Pokemon when we were playing Sword and Shield.
That's because it had limited utility once we got past the Elite Four, the Elite Four, the League, because it's a pure fire type.
Are they all pure types?
The starters in Gen 8 are, yeah.
That beats firefighting type.
I guess, but at least firefighting has the advantages of having a second type.
Well, my internet's getting better. I can actually see the quality of the video that is being given to me.
Yeah, I'm recording this on a 4K monitor, so it's being uploaded in what is technically 4K, even though the fact of the matter is that the Switch only outputs at 1080. Well, and you're seeing it at 720 because I'm not giving Discord my money to stream better.
I mean, it's Pokemon, so it's not like it really needs the high res. Yeah. I got me a box of biscuits. Cause I have a craving for fucking biscuits, fuck.
I like how he basically says, yeah, there's a lot of rock-type gym leaders.
I like how the game calls itself out on that one.
Hmm. It also looks like he's wearing shorts over a pair of trousers.
Okay. Picture this. Map for Pokemon D&D, right?
Mm-hmm.
It basically, you have your starting town, right?
Yeah.
And then from your starting town, you have the first town.
Yeah.
Where you presumably either get up to a story point or maybe your first badge, that type of thing, right? Or you could have it be the whole story point, and then from the story point you have options.
Yeah.
So either all of you can go to the same place, or depending on like how many there is, so like if there were 3, you could all split up, or 2 of you could go together and 1 could go to a different place, right?
It is worth noting that splitting up makes your life as a dungeon master hella difficult.
Obviously. Which is why you just sit there and record the sessions, so you're making verbal notes of what you are doing.
Assuming you don't have players who are completely phobic of having anything they're doing recorded.
I mean, for the most part, the only reason I'd be recording it is so I could remember what happened. Because every time I sleep, it's like a system restart. Like, Cranidos looks really low res.
Its eyes do look really bad. I can all but guarantee that the Pokemon models are recycled.
Probably.
Considering the Pokemon models in Sword and Shield are literally being reused from X and Y. Which I should point out are the better part of a decade old now. Anyway, that should be an evolution.
I like the fact that he has a job, though, other than being the gym leader.
Yeah. He's the boss man for the coal mine.
Yay.
Derpy, awkward teenage years.
And it's better than fucking emo phase McGee. And I'm talking about the water type in Sword Shield.
Metal Claw, yes, please. Charm actually has a potential use. I'll get rid of Pound. That's crusty. Here's the stickers that I use. You obtain the stickers that he uses.
Do you want to see if you can polish your gym badges?
Yeah, why not? No.
They don't make music anymore!
Yeah, all I can do is open and close the case.
For anyone who isn't aware, the original Diamond and Pearl, because it was on the DS, you had your like monitor and your touchscreen, and the case would open on your touchscreen, and basically you'd have to shine your badges, and they'd get 1 twinkle, 2 twinkles, and 3 twinkles depending on how clean they were. And when they were like super clean, you could tap them and make music with them. They'd all have a different sound.
You had a full octave of music. The duller they were, the flatter the sound would be.
And it's just one of my like favorite little things about it. Obviously, like I'm in love with the contest stuff in this because why not? Of course I am.
Yeah.
But
we'll...
Diamond and Pearl definitely had like some cute little like cork things, like the puffins.
I think that's a good place to wrap this episode.
Sure.
Yeah. Time for a break.